Alright, Mercury Cougar. Here's what a lot of work looks like.
All it takes is one job, oh yeah. All it takes is one job, and everything is gonna be okay.
It's all jammed, all back together, all sanded. You can kind of see the shininess of it. Masked and ready to spray. So tomorrow we'll be painting. It's getting painted ivy green metallic. I think it's dark, yeah, dark ivy green metallic. It's a Dodge and Ford color. They both used it in the late 60s. So the Chargers and the Mustangs are painted this color. The Bullet Mustang, Steve McQueen, famous jumping the hills in San Francisco, that was the same green. But she's laser straight. Only had one to do one little cleanup job here. There was a low right there that needed to be handled. Took care of it yesterday, and we finished blocking it out today. And then after we blocked it out in 400, then we DA'd in 360, then 400. Got the gaps dialed, and we'll give it a go over tomorrow to double check to make sure a little tape like this isn't gonna be sitting like that. Anyways, long time coming as usual. We're gonna paint 2 coats of clear on it with the new level clear that I'm using. 2 coats of clear, cut it in 800, and then clear it again. So we'll have 2.5 coats or something like that, but it's a lot thicker. It's an Italian made clear, and a lot thicker than anything I've ever used. More like a Euro clear, but not as hard. The Euro clears have a problem with rock chips and stuff. They really chip big and chip deep, and this is hopefully not going to have as much of that. But yeah, so tomorrow we make it pretty. Doing the last minute things to the Mercury here. I'm using a dual part seam sealer. Most definitely the way to go. This stuff, like it says on here, cure time is 15 minutes or setup time, and you can paint over it in 0 minutes. So it doesn't matter that I'm doing this, you know, a little bit before. It feels like I'm about to run out.
Boom!
Makes for a great video. Instruction on how to do seam sealer take 2. So of course you do the thing that you want to do first. You take your finger and you wipe it. Wipe this off on the rag. The trick to the seam sealer is lacquer thinner. So I got lacquer thinner in a mustard container here. Get a lot of lacquer thinner on the rag and wipe it. And the lacquer thinner will clean it up really nice. Use a 2-part seam sealer. Don't use that 1-part stuff. Sometimes they'll give you a gun if you're using it professionally. Otherwise, they're just gonna make you buy it. But you can paint over this in 0 minutes. Set time is 15. It'll take a while to dry. But the 2-part hardens it pretty quickly. But it really doesn't matter what color you're using, unless if you are using it where you're not gonna paint over it, then you might care. But they make it in white and black for this. I only use these SEM, and it's never let me down. And they make a couple of different kinds that I use. There's a control flow, self-leveling. This is a high build, self-leveling. So this is for a deep rain gutter on the top of a vehicle. Like I used this the other day on the 56 Chevy that we're doing for Flex. This worked in the rain gutter that went around the roof. Works really great. You're still gonna wipe it, but it self-levels after that. We also got panel bonding adhesive. This stuff is gnarly. You could glue a car to your ceiling with that. Glue on a quarter panel. Anyways, that's the stuff that I use. I actually have their chart here. So They have different sound deadening foams, the different sealers. We were just using the black and the white here. That high build self-leveling, you can see it smooths itself out like that. Plastic repair and adhesives. So a lot of stuff can go in that dual part gun. Last thing, leave the tip on it that we're using. It'll harden inside that tip and seal it off from anything. When you pull that tip off, just maybe wipe the end of it off with a rag and then stick on a new tip. The tips are what mix it. You can buy them by the bag, or it comes with a couple of them in each kit, but sometimes you'll need more. But you can kind of see it has these little kind of cavities that it runs through and mixes it up, so it's good to go. By the time it comes out, you don't have to run a bead of it to get the mix going. Just as soon as it's coming out, it's good to go. Even though I still a lot of times do smidge a little bit in the trash can before I start using it. Primer sealer. Hello. Here, it's time for clear. There she is, cousin. Looking pretty. So much work. My arm's tired. Time for a dang near dinner break at this point. Look at that. Man, can I cook or can I cook? Special thanks to Jared as well. So today, made the car look like shit again, cutting the clear, and we're going to do a flow coat. So a flow coat essentially is you sand down the car in like an 800 or so, and I'm doing a 800 on interface pad, soft pad on the DA. You take off that top orange peel and then you clear it again. And so we'll sand this, then wash it again, then mask it all up again and spray one more coat on there. On this level clear, you're using 2 coats, cutting it with the 800 and doing just one more coat. If you're spending about $100 for your clear, then you're doing like 5 coats, cutting it with the 800 and doing like 2 more coats. It just depends on how many mil your clear is going to do for you. So I'll kind of show you a little example sample of what it looks like cutting this. So you can see all those little shiny spots. And that would be a dirt nib. That would be a dirt nib. Dirt nib is just some sort of contaminant, dust, bug. We had a little bit of cotton coming from cottonwood trees flying around here. And then you can see, or can't see, you can kind of see there better. So this is cut to where there is no little shinies. This still has the shinies on it. So you're cutting it down to that and then stopping. And that's where we'll clean it and re-clear. Alright, we have a little run here. The problem with the run is if you try to sand it out, you're just wrecking around it. So if you take a razor blade, you put a little bit of a crown in it, and you're going to pull it down. If it goes, you don't want that. It has to scrape evenly. So let's see if I can do it without screwing this up. Yeah, it's kind of bouncing. Let's try it upwards. You don't want it to bounce. It was bouncing a little bit there because it's still probably a little fresh to be cutting a run out. It's kind of giving it a little bit of a white thing that there, and that's not good. It's meaning that it's a little bit fresh, and what can happen is that can just go bloop and take a big old chunk out. So we're gonna work it at a little bit different angle. It's working better up here because it isn't so wet. Where it's wetter, it's making that more white part. But you can kind of see on this upper part where it's working. Basically, you want to get it down to where it's kind of about there. You want to get it down to where you can't really see it anymore. All right, we're all cut and masked. Do that flow coat early in the morning. Hopefully all goes well. Well, we got it cut and our flow coat on. And now it'll go over for another cut and buff. But it's looking pretty darn good. Pretty happy.
All it takes is one job, oh yeah. All it takes is one job,